Have you ever seen an idol? No, I'm not talking about an American Idol. I'm talking about an idol that people used to worship, and many still do. I remember when I was in Bali years ago, I saw these idols in these temples that were there and thought this is where their pagan gods that they would worship. And the Bible talks about a certain type of idol as a graven image, and that's more like a statue or an object that they worship as if it's God, it's replacing God. Then there's other idols that we may have in our lives right now that we're worshiping and may not even realize it. Let's talk about that today in your morning cup of inspiration. You know, an idol can be anything from a statue, it's in place of worshiping God. It could be your career. You place your career in front of God. It could be that it's money. You're concentrating more on making money than you're doing on anything else. It could just be beauty. You're a head turner. When you walk into a place, heads turn, and you recognize this, and you want to keep that up. So I'm going to get nipped and tucked and tucked and nipped. And so some of these people you see, it's like, my gosh, what did they do that for? But that's because it becomes an idol to them. It's something that they're going to control and that they worship. Same with fame. If you have reached a certain amount of level of fame, then all of a sudden it's me, and I'm thinking all about me, and I'm not thinking about God, and I'm not worshiping God, I'm worshiping me. You know, the first thing you get up in the morning, what do you first think of? I used to say too, look in your checkbook and see where you're writing checks to, and you'll see where your interest is and where's your God. And it's true. You know, in the Old Testament, if you read back in there was many idols in the Old Testament, and one, well, let's see, when Moses took the Israelites, you know, out of Egypt, and he went up to Mount Sinai to get the Ten Commandments, they forced Aaron to make a golden calf that they worshiped because they thought, well, he's gone. You know, he left us here, although they forgot that God brought him out of Israel, out of slavery. Once Moses was gone, they looked at Moses as God and not the God who was leading them, who was leading Moses. And they had his graven image, and they were worshiping it, and that's what they ended up doing. It became an idol. And you know, and the same thing happened in before they left Egypt. Egypt had a lot of idols in the old Egyptians, and one was the frog god. And the frog god was part woman, body of a woman and the head of a frog. I don't know which one had the warts, but there was a frog god. So one of the plagues that God put on Egypt so that Pharaoh would release his people was just inundated them with frogs to the point where Pharaoh went and begged Moses and Aaron to plead with God to stop this plague, to stop the frogs. But I think what God did was saying, you want to worship frogs? I'll show you frogs. Now, I am the only one and true God. And so I think people got the hint on that he is the only one and true God. You know, sometimes God does things like that to get our attention. He wants you to know that these aren't the gods. Understand, I am the true God. In 1 John 5:21, the Bible tells us, little children, keep yourselves from idols. And of course, we're God's children. So when it says little children, don't think of tykes. Think of yourself. I'm a child of God. And he tells us not to worship idols. Continue to look at him. Don't worship things. Don't worship graven images. Just worship God. God bless everyone. Look forward to seeing you again for another morning cup of inspiration. Have a wonderful day.